Unlike Graham Stephan, my YouTube channel has standards. In case you haven't heard, FTX blew up and wiped out billions of dollars of value. While there's no way that I'm the first one to tell you about this, you may not have realized that the YouTuber Graham Stephan was incessantly promoting FTX and earning tons of referral fees through affiliate links. He made way more sponsorship money than any of his followers made from FTX because everyone who signed up through him lost everything in their account. I only found out about the fallout Graham Stephan is dealing with now because 2 years ago, I put out a video bashing his scammy behavior, and people only started watching that video now because no one really watches my channel. And so by popular demand, I am making this follow-up Graham Stephan-bashing video. I had no problem kicking him while he was up, so I have no problem kicking him while he's down. And in sequels, you always have to go bigger and better, so Graham is not the only one I'm bashing in this video. This problem goes way beyond Graham or any other YouTuber that was promoting FTX. There's something intrinsically wrong with venture capital. For such a risky industry, it's very risk-averse when it comes to reputation. I have never met a VC who's willing to say bad things about a founder or a company publicly unless it's politically safe to do so. Meaning, somebody else already said it. And yet, we've been seeing with increasing frequency that these mega companies are blowing up in consumers' faces and causing a ton of collateral damage, which is hurting these VCs' reputations anyway. I mean, how the does a 20-something get a unicorn valuation and run free with no board of directors? Shame on Sequoia for putting their stamp of approval on FTX. It created FOMO investing amongst other VCs, which created melt-up valuations, which emboldened Sam Bankman Fried to straight up commit fraud right under all the investors' noses. And Sequoia had the arrogance to defend their due diligence process? For an industry that's famous for glorifying those who learn from their failures, Sequoia is hypocritically refusing to admit that there's a failure in their process. And the venture capital process has failed spectacularly in proptech. It failed with Katerra, where SoftBank burned $2 billion trying to disrupt construction with a leadership team that didn't even come from real estate. And SoftBank again overfunded Adam Neumann with WeWork, where growth at all costs led to a huge footprint that couldn't make money. And Elon Musk's The Boring Company was backed by Sequoia as well in a late round, pumping up the valuation to $6 billion after the company repeatedly abandoned projects in Maryland, Chicago, LA, and Ontario. And almost every proptech company that IPO'd through a SPAC has tanked below half its IPO value. Too much of the venture capital process relies on finding great storytellers. Founders who lure investors in with a classic line like, "Real estate is a multi-trillion-dollar industry ripe for disruption." These kinds of founders are masters at gaming the venture capital system using Jedi mind tricks. The problem is, most of the investors are too wrapped up in the FOMO to tell if they've really been tricked by a Sith Lord. On the surface, there's very little difference between an inspiring visionary leader and a charismatic con artist. Instead of letting founders bribe the likes of Graham Stephan, venture investors need to go back to focusing on whether a company is producing a good product that can feasibly make money. And while I'm ranting like this, I have to say that I am sick of hearing so many founders and VCs condescendingly lecture the real estate industry about how we are slow and antiquated. They need to look in the mirror and realize that it's actually venture capital that's ripe for disruption. And they should be absolutely ashamed that someone from an antiquated industry is telling them this. But anyway, this video actually isn't about wasting energy on hating Graham Stephan or VCs. Just like my previous Graham bashing video, it's about capitalizing on his reputation, good or bad, to promote my brand, the PropTech Scout. I've been shifting the focus of this channel to primarily talk about PropTech products and whether real estate professionals should use them. Unlike Graham Stephan, I have standards for what I promote. Actually, I don't even have sponsors asking me to promote their stuff because my channel's too small. Most of my content going forward is super in-depth analysis of proptech companies that I've either used or researched, and I'm not afraid to call it like I see it, which means sometimes I'm gonna say some mean things. If I see bad behavior, risky business models, and unethical products, I'm going to call them out on it to protect viewers and consumers. And if a proptech company does want to sponsor me, I have to really like their business and they have to meet my minimum standards. 1, they have to enhance some aspect of the life cycle of the built environment for its stakeholders or ultimately its users. 2, they have to do so without adversely impacting the risk of the underlying real estate investment. And 3, they have to have a good track record and leadership, with bonus points for having ESG policies in place. It is so important for a YouTube channel to have standards for the products it promotes, because as you can see with not just Graham Stephan, but with many of the top venture capitalists, Having loose standards hurts followers, investors, employees, and consumers. Saying unpopular opinions out loud won't always be great for my reputation. You can't see it, but my first Graham bashing video is my most disliked. And if you look at the comments on my Boxable video, you'll see that the cult investors piled on the hate. But I know that having a set of standards is the right thing to do. So why am I becoming this hero that nobody asked for? And what happened to my development company that I was promoting in my last Graham bashing video? Well, I got burned by proptech a few times and I put a pause on real estate development. That's some drama I'm never going to talk about publicly, but I will apply all the hard lessons I've learned to helping other real estate professionals safely adopt technology in real estate. If my first Graham bashing video was about transparency, this one is about irony. Because I am bashing failed proptech companies after my own development company failed, which means I haven't been making money lately and I'm pretty much a full-time content creator now, which ironically is what Graham Stephan did. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So I either end this video on the moral high ground or I drag it on long enough to start accepting sponsorship from the next scam. Bye.